Welcome to another deep dive into a legend of automotive history. If you're a true car enthusiast, someone who appreciates the raw sound of a V8, the aggressive stance of a classic machine, and the stories behind the legends, then you're in for something truly special. Today, we're diving into a machine that changed everything. The 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback. The year was 1967. The streets of America were alive with change. The counterculture movement was in full swing. Rock and roll was shaking the soul of a generation, and in the garages and highways of the country, something extraordinary was happening in the world of automobiles. Muscle cars weren't just a trend, they were a revolution. And leading the charge was the Mustang. But not just any Mustang. The 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback. This wasn't just a car. It was a statement. A dream forged in Detroit steel. A predator on the asphalt jungle. And it still sends chills down the spine of every car lover who hears that throaty V8 rumble echoing off a canyon wall. It was the sound of American freedom. Let's take it back to where it all began. Ford introduced the original Mustang in 1964 as a compact, stylish, and affordable car for the youth of America. It was an immediate hit, selling over 400,000 units in its first year alone. The Mustang was a sensation. It invented a whole new class of car, the pony car. But by 1967, the competition had caught on. Chevrolet had launched the Camaro. Dodge was getting ready to unleash the Charger and Challenger. The battlefield of muscle cars was heating up, and Ford knew they had to respond, so they went back to the drawing board. What they delivered was the redesigned 1967 Mustang Fastback. This wasn't just a facelift. This was an evolution, a transformation. A beast had been born. The design was unforgettable. Sleek, aggressive, aerodynamic, the Fastback roofline wasn't just for looks, it screamed performance. The long hood, short rear deck, and that signature shark-like nose gave the Mustang a muscular, forward-leaning stances if it was always ready to pounce. The entire car had an aura about it that turned heads even when parked, and those side scoops. Pure attitude. They didn't serve a functional aerodynamic purpose, but they didn't have to. They just looked mean, powerful, dangerous. They were a physical embodiment of the car's aggressive spirit. The front end was more imposing than the earlier models, with a wider grille and more pronounced headlights. Chrome accents, vented quarter panels, and deeply sculpted body lines all came together to create a shape that was both elegant and aggressive. It was the kind of design that balanced beauty with intimidation, sophistication with rebellion. It was bold, it was beautiful, and it was unmistakably Mustanged inside. You were greeted by a cabin that screamed Americana. Bucket seats, three-spoke steering wheel with grain trim. It wasn't a luxury car. It wasn't trying to be. It was a driver's car, simple, focused, pure. The dashboard was redesigned in 1967 to be more driver-oriented. Controls were within easy reach, and visibility was excellent. The cabin was surprisingly spacious for a sports coupe, but again, this car wasn't about comfort. It was about the experience, and oh, what an experience it was. Under the hood was the heart of the beast. The engine. In 1967, Ford offered a variety of engines for the Mustang. You could go with a modest 200 cubic inch inline six, but that's not why you bought a Fastback. You wanted power. You wanted presence. You wanted the growl of Detroit muscle echoing through your soul. So you checked the box for the 289 V8 or the 390 V8. Yes, 390 cubic inches of American thunder. That engine pumped out a solid 320 horsepower, which might not sound like much by today's numbers, but back then, it was pure fire. Paired with either a 4-speed manual or a 3-speed automatic, the 67 Fastback wasn't just quick in a straight line. Thanks to its relatively light weight, it handled better than most of its rivals. It was nimble, planted, and responsive. It was built for the curves just as much as the quarter mile. This wasn't just a muscle car. This was the birth of the true performance coupe. It was more than brute force, it had balance. And then came the legend within the legend. You've seen it in movies. You've dreamt about it in your garage. You've felt its presence through a screen. Eleanor. Yes, the 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback was immortalized in the movie Gone in 60 Seconds. Both the 1974 original and the 2000 remake turned this car into a pop culture icon. That grain-black custom fastback with racing stripes, side exhausts, and attitude for dies it wasn't just a car, it was the car. The ultimate unicorn. The car that made people fall in love with Mustangs all over again. But Eleanor was just the tip of the iceberg around the world. Car lovers began to realize that the 1967 Mustang Fastback was one of the purest expressions of American car design. No computers, no driving assists, no nonsense, just raw analog connection between man, machine, and road. Every gear shift was mechanical. Every rev, every vibration, you felt it. Every downshift felt like an event. Every upshift gave you a shot of adrenaline. The 1967 Fastback wasn't built to protect you from the road. It was built to connect you to it. And it did that better than almost any car of its time today. The 67 Fastback is one of the most desirable Mustangs on the collector's market. Prices can easily top 6 figures for a well-preserved or restored example. Originality matters. Provenance matters. But, above all, the way it makes you feel behind the wheel is priceless. But it's not just about rarity. It's about soul. This car has soul. It has character. It tells a story. Every scratch in the paint, every creak in the door hinge, every turn of the key. It all whispers stories of joyrides, sunsets, races won and lost, and late nights in American cities that no longer look the same. There's something timeless about this car, something immortal. Drive it, and people turn their heads not because it's flashy or loud, but because it represents something real. A time when cars were an extension of who you were, not a status symbol, not an electric appliance, but a machine, a beautiful, dangerous, glorious machine. It's the perfect combination of style, speed, and spirit. It's the kind of car that doesn't just get you from point A to point B, makes the journey the destination. It makes every trip feel like a moment out of a movie. It's a memory on wheels, a piece of American heritage, and in many ways, it's the last of a dying breed, because they just don't make M like this anymore. They can't. That engine sound, that's not just noise. That's poetry, it's emotion, it's history. It's everything that makes car culture real. The 1967 Mustang Fastback doesn't try to be modern. It doesn't apologize for its age. It wears its years like a badge of honor. It demands respect. It stands tall among giants. The Camaro, the Charger, the GTO, the Chevelle, and it says, I'm still here, and I still matter. If you're lucky enough to own one you know, if you've driven one you understand, and if you've only dreamed of one then, keep dreaming, because some dreams are worth chasing for a lifetime. Thanks for joining in on this journey into one of the greatest American classics of all time, the 1967 Ford Mustang. If you felt that rumble in your chest, if you could picture yourself behind the wheel, then make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories, more legends, and more pure automotive passion. Let us know in the comments, what's your dream Mustang? Or, better yet, do you own one? Until next time, keep your engines roaring and your hearts racing. We'll see you on the next ride.